Hey everybody, I'm Mike Lieberman, CEO and Chief Revenue Scientist here at Square Two, and I'm very, very, very happy to have kind of a technology celebrity here, Scott Brinker. Scott's the VP of Ecosystem at HubSpot, and you're also the editor of ChiefMartech.com, Scott. So I really appreciate you talking to me. You are at the right place at the right time, my friend, with everything that's going on. So we're going to talk about a lot of cool topics today. If you want to kind of introduce yourself to the audience a little bit, feel free to go ahead.
Yeah, sure. So as you said, I'm the VP Platform Ecosystem at HubSpot. I run all of our technology integrations, the 1,500 some odd partners who build integrations to HubSpot. Before that, I was a SaaS entrepreneur myself, so I know what it's like being on the other side, building integrations to platforms. And then, as you mentioned, boy, for about 15, 16 years now, I've been writing the Chief Martech blog about this wild, woolly, wonderful intersection between the worlds of marketing and technology.
Yeah, so let's get right into it. So every company I know, every CEO I know, they want to grow, right? Everybody involved in business generally wants to grow. So I want to start our conversation today with how you think technology helps companies grow. Because look, it's important to us. We have a platform that we go to clients with: strategy, tactics, campaigns, and technology. But not everybody understands how core technology is in this growth formula. So why don't we start there, and you share some of your brilliance around why do companies need technology to grow?
All right, well, easy on the brilliance thing. I want to keep expectations modest here. I think the way I would frame it is I love this analogy sometimes about front of house versus back of house. So there's the front of house experience that we are now completely dependent on technology for, which is all of our customers or prospects who want to engage with us through digital channels, whether it's our website or maybe it's a mobile app, maybe they're connecting through social, they subscribe to something and are engaging with us through email. All these things, I mean, these are all technology powered channels, so if you want to grow with any of these customers through any of these channels, guess what? You need the technology to manage that. And the fun thing is, like, that is always a moving target. There's always new channels like TikTok. It wasn't that many years ago, like, TikTok, what's that? Now, oh, well, TikTok, that's just for, the fun consumer videos. The next thing you know, now there's TikTok for business, and they're spinning up a whole advertising engine. So, yeah, the world changes fast, and technology can help your business keep up with those changing expectations from customers. Then there's the back of house, which is really about, particularly as our businesses become more digitally powered, we're able to use things like automation and analytics to simply be able to accelerate the speed at which our business operates, to really become more efficient, in how we do business. And again, like, hey, for every business out here, everyone who's working in this space, take a deep breath. I mean, this is all new, like 20 years ago, it was a very different world, and so wherever you are on your journey of leveraging technology to engage with customers or to optimize your business operations, you don't have to boil the ocean all at once. This is a journey we are on together.
Yeah, that's really good advice. One of the things you do, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like you adopted it, but that picture with all of the logos, right? Like I just love like looking at that and seeing like, how many do we have this year, right? Like, are we up to 15,000 different like logos yet on that chart? It's such a great chart. But to that point, it's such a complicated space. How would you recommend companies? Okay, so assuming they realize, yes, I need technology to grow, how would you suggest they try to navigate all of those options and alternatives so that it's not so completely overwhelming?
Yeah, so my first piece of advice would be, do not look at my chart. You will be a happier person if you never look at that chart. I mean, the truth is, yeah, there are thousands and thousands of different marketing technology companies. And the truth is, this isn't just for marketing. Actually, marketing is probably one of the smaller markets right now. I mean, if you look across fintech, all the things happening in engineering, software development, cybersecurity, everywhere in software, every category of software has had just a complete explosion, of the number of companies in the space. However, that is not the way most people should look at it. You don't want to look at the universe and then figure out, oh, what star should I, pick from the sky? The way these markets are structured is while there might be thousands of companies, there aren't thousands of well-known brands. It's a long tail. And at the head of the tail, you have a relatively small number, maybe a few dozen, mostly public companies, have been in this space building for a long time. They've got billions in revenue. They've got large user bases, and they're really designed increasingly to be these platforms that serve as the foundation for a business, And so my recommendation is for people to usually start with one of those, because this will give you, and I'm biased here. I work at HubSpot. We're one of them, but there are other, competing solutions there too, but it's at least a narrow enough set that you can look at which one feels right to me. You can adopt it, and out of the box, it's going to give you a lot of the core capability you need. And then I usually recommend that people only start going beyond that once they start identifying use cases or business cases, things along their customer journey that their current software doesn't give them the capability to do that, but they now want to find some way to augment that functionality.
Yeah, I don't want to veer too far off by talking about AI, but I feel like that has made it even more complicated, because not only are there a whole new set of tools, but now there's all these things that people used to do that now can be done by technology. So I don't want to open up that can of worms yet, but that I feel like that has made this conversation even more complicated. Your guidance is really good, really figure out what you need help with, start with that. And then as you get your feet under you, other opportunities will present themselves. So I was talking to someone in the AI space, and they kind of gave me similar guidance around AI. Look, if content creation is your big use case, then just find something that helps you create content faster, right? And then work with it until it's content faster and better, right? And then when you get that worked out, maybe try to tackle something else. So again, don't boil the ocean, but deal with your main issues first and kind of grow into it from there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. The more you take a customer-centric view on this, the better you're going to be.
Yeah. All right, good. So I want to shift gears a little bit, because some of the challenges that we see in the market are not just around technology, but they're also around data. And data and technology are very closely related. But yes, but I'm very concerned that there are still too many people leaning into third-party data and not paying enough attention to first-party data and building their own database, keeping their data clean, keeping it organized, really viewing their own data as a highly important corporate asset that really needs to have a lot of attention paid to it. So I'm hoping you can shed a little light on your perspective around how companies should be thinking about their data and how they take care of it kind of going into 2024.
Yeah, no, it's a great question, great topic to cover. And I'd say, we've come from a world where some things were easy and some things were hard. The things that were easy was targeting through third-party data and third-party cookies. Heck, Google would do 95% of it for you. So of course we use that, and it worked, On the other side of it, first-party data was actually pretty hard, because for a lot of people, their tech stacks were very disjointed. These systems weren't integrated. And so trying to even pull together all of the data from across the different direct touch points you have with your customers, much less than synthesize that into something of okay, how would you actually operationalize on that? That was very hard. Now, what's happening here is almost these two things are inverting. Third-party data, third-party cookies are going away, third-party data, the regulations around it are getting increasingly tighter. It's going to get harder and harder to use the third-party approaches to, win, and grow business. Luckily, though, on the other side of the equation, we are getting better at integrating systems together. This is the whole, reason, for taking open platform approaches, so that these aren't a bunch of different technologies, each in their own silo, but they're able to connect together. You can pull that data into one place. And then once you start to have the data aggregated, this opens up the ability to now, I can use this to leverage for targeting, for segmenting, to be able to personalize particular messages to different cohorts. So, what was that? Like one door closes, another door opens. I think we're seeing that shift right now from the third party to first party world.
Yeah, I wish it was going a little faster. I still feel like people are enamored with that the third party, big databases, buy these records, reach out to people they don't know kind of approach. I guess maybe I could ask you to put on your what do you call it with the crystal ball? Fortune teller. Put on your fortune teller hat and look out into the future and give me some idea when you think we're going to hit that tipping point where that third party data approach is just not going to be viable.
Yeah, I think, again, what is that? The Yogi Berra thing, like predictions are hard, especially about the future.
Right.
But if I were to take my best guess, I would say I actually think it'll be within the next 2 years. And it's mostly because, yeah, the third party cookies, they are absolutely going away. And I know that's going to come as a real surprise. It doesn't come as a surprise. We've been talking about it forever, but a lot of people haven't worried about it. They keep relying on it. When that stuff finally does get turned off, as it's expected to be, towards the second half of next year, that's going to certainly be a big wake up call for like moving away from the third party side. On the first party side, you had mentioned, previously about, AI, and I agree that AI is a mixed bag. It has some really cool things it's bringing us. It's also got some new challenges. But one of the things I'm very excited about is, as we were saying, integrations are very good at helping to pull the data into one spot. What AI is particularly good at is now being given one massive source of data, being able to find patterns and like pull opportunities out of that data in a way that actually would have been very laborious for us to do, manually. And so given the speed of how things are evolving in that set of functionality around AI, yeah, I think over the next 2 years, we'll see a pretty good leap forward in how people leverage first party data.
Yeah, when we talked to our clients a couple of years ago, data was a very small part of the conversation. We basically all we really needed to know was how many contacts did they have, right? Do they have a decent sized database or not? Because that impacted what we needed to do for them. Now we spend quite a bit of time talking about data. Almost every single engagement starts with either a data audit or data cleanup or helping us segment that data for them, because 9 out of 10 clients come to us with data that's just not ready to be used properly in marketing. And a lot of them aren't even really aware of how bad it is. They kind of know it's not great. They're like, well, we bought some lists and we haven't really paid much attention to it. So they kind of slow roll us a little bit to make it seem like it's not quite as bad as it probably is. But you can tell that it really hasn't gotten any attention. And that's usually a recipe for a situation where you have a lot of old and bad data in that database.
Yeah. Well, I'm always one of these glasses half full people. So I look at it as wow, you have such a wonderful opportunity to improve from here.
Right.
If you're down at this
Right.
level, you have nowhere to
Right.
go but up.
Right. Except they weren't planning on spending money to clean up their data. They were expecting to spend money on a new website and an email campaign. But yeah, right. So we have to kind of reset their expectations. Really good. Really good. Thank you for that.